Well, let's go to our first topic then, which makes a lot of sense to do it first because of our guest, and we want to respect their time. Eric, what are we talking about?
Talking gaming and questions for Mr. Reese Riley. Kiwi Talkz. So, yeah.
No pressure.
Maybe we should direct it. Let's maybe start with Metroid.
Start with Metroid?
Go with Metroid stuff first.
Yeah. I was getting there.
I know. I wrote about there. I was giving ideas of for to come up.
But it's one of those that it's like those ideas, but the way you wrote it's not really like
it's not really
just like talking points.
Yeah, it's not really meant to be read off.
Right. Yeah. So let's start with Metroid Prime 4. Whoever wants to throw a question out there, let's go.
I'll just look. I know you put your thoughts out already on X, but for the audience, what are your overall thoughts on Metroid Prime 4? And let's just get that out of the way.
Okay. I think it's good, but it's not great. I think personally it's the weakest Metroid Prime game. However, there are elements of it that I like. So, first of all, I will say that love the art direction. I think it's the best looking Nintendo game ever. I think from a technical standpoint, amazing. I think the sound design is immaculate. I think the soundtrack is amazing. Where the game falls apart is in its level design. And unfortunately, in my opinion, design is the most important aspect of any game. You can have bad art or bad frame rate or the music isn't that great, but people can look past that if the design is intact, it's fun, and all of that. But when the design is bad, unfortunately, it brings down the whole game, and Metroid Prime 4 unfortunately falls into that category. A lot of the design is just elevators and corridors, which isn't necessarily always bad, but you can tell that this game was in development hell. There's a bit of tonal whiplash, I feel. I think the Prime Trilogy is very, very good at being a fusion of Eastern and Western design philosophies. I think they walk that line very, very well. But with this game, there's a lot of tonal whiplash. They don't really know what they want the game to be. Sometimes it feels Metroid, sometimes it feels Zelda, sometimes it feels Halo. And the biggest, I suppose, sin is the desert, Soul Valley. It's just not fun for the most part. And you can see the ambition and you can see what they were attempting to do, but they couldn't quite execute it. And there might be various reasons for that. Technical constraints of Switch 1, they ran out of time, could be another. Or maybe the designers just didn't have any good ideas. But, I mean, overall, I would probably give it a 7 out of 10. However, if they patch a few things, I would probably put it up to an 8. Yeah, personally.
Well, we'll see. There could be patches coming at some point.
I hope they do patches. It definitely needs to be patched. There's some things that definitely need to be patched. Like, there's some stuff that I've heard people say online. They're like, oh, they should patch this and patch that. But a lot of that stuff actually isn't viable. When you introduce patches, obviously the core design, the fundamental theme of what the game is staying intact. You're just kind of smoothing things out around the edges. So one of the things I'd like to see patched is they need to reduce the scanning by like a second, maybe 2 seconds. It takes too long to scan stuff compared to the original games. The crystal hunt, too much padding. They need to reduce that by about 25%. What's something else that they need to do? Add goddamn music to Soul Valley, man. Driving around on the motorcycle, the whole amiibo shit. No. What you could do is you could keep the whole jukebox thing as part of the amiibo, but just actually, once you get the motorcycle, then have the viola track that plays when you're doing the certification sequence. Make that the default track when you're driving around the desert. And then when you get off, it then goes back to the ambient stuff, right? Imagine like sailing around Wind Waker without the music. It would be so lame.
That beautiful song too. That gives the sense of adventure. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Emotion is critical to a game, right? Like how you feel when you're playing a game, and music is critical to that. And the fact that you've just got this ambient, for like hours on end is just, it's too much. It's too much. What else? I don't think there's anything else off the top of my head. There might be. Those are the things that come to my mind right now. But I think everything else is fine. There's stuff about the game that is just designed badly, but you can't actually change it. You couldn't patch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious I agree with a lot of what you said, Kiwi. We all went over our thoughts, and for me, I agree with you. Soul Valley feels very, very stagnant and uninspired, and
underdeveloped.
I do agree. Yeah, underdeveloped. Yeah. I feel like they should have cut back. I actually think the game would have benefited from being shorter, even if like cutting that crystal hunt would have obviously made the game shorter, but the game would have been better for it. And level design again felt a little bit stale compared to previous both 2D Metroid and 3D Metroid, where you have that really smart interconnectivity and all the shortcuts that you discover throughout. This one really lacked that. And then I'm curious what you thought about this, though, because there was one part, and obviously this isn't something that they're going to patch in, really, but and I know it's a very divisive thing, but for me, the lack of Samus's voice acting I found very jarring when the companion characters are like speaking directly to her with questions even, and then they just carry on talking as if Samus answered it but didn't. And listen, I'm not asking for Samus to be a yapper, but even if she talked as much as, Afro Samurai does or John Wick does in the movies, where she maybe has like 5 minutes of dialogue the whole adventure, I mean, I would have been down with that. I think it would have been a little bit less jarring, personally.
I agree. In games, usually, especially when it comes to Nintendo stuff, I never go in like expecting some grand story. Like if you go into a Nintendo game expecting Rockstar writing or Naughty Dog writing, you're going to be very disappointed. With that being said, though, I do agree. I think Metroid Dread got it right. She only talks once in the whole game. Like you just create these segments where when she speaks, it has a lot of emphasis and it carries a lot of weight. But yeah, there were a couple of times I'm just like, that's a bit cringe. But then also in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, Link has the same thing. Like Zelda's talking to him, and he's just
and it bothers me. I'm like, we've done a lot of innovations with Zelda. I think it's time for Link to talk. People will get over it. People will hate it at first, and then people will like it.
I mean, I will say, I think the voice acting for the actual characters. So there's two different aspects, right? There's the voice acting and there's the dialogue. I think the voice acting is actually very, very well done. I think the dialogue is not. In a lot of places. So the quality of the writing. With that being said, with something like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, a lot of the voice acting I thought was bad. Zelda specifically, I couldn't tune out because I'm half British. My dad is British.
Oh.
So I know when I'm hearing like a phony British accent, because like the voice actress is Canadian. And I'm like, why are you... Why did you hire someone who can't do a British accent properly? If you want to do the whole British royalty, sort of voice, then just hire a British actor. But I've just never liked the voice acting for Zelda. I know some people love her. And kudos. But yeah, but I thought the actual voice acting was good. Some of the dialogue is cringe. Granted, so the story for Metroid Prime 4, the actual outline of the story, comes from Nintendo. That comes from Tanabe. The actual writing, that came from Retro. So people are like taking sides in this and being like, oh, this is Nintendo's fault, or this is Tanabe's fault, or this is Retro's fault. Look, there's errors on all sides.
Sure.
Anyway, but back to answer your question, yes, Samus should have spoken. Agreed.
Yeah. It feels weird because she's spoken in prior games, so it's kind of like, why are we pretending she's like Link? That's not who Samus is.
Well, I think they took that route because of Other M. personally.
Yeah,
Other M
they were
was
pretty
so bad. They just like.
it was dry dialogue with dry voice acting. I don't.
Well, I mean, I hate Other M. I just hate that game. Everything about it. But I don't like the writing. I don't like the voice acting either. And even.
And you think this is worse than Other M?
No, I don't think it's worse than Other M. No way. Like
Oh,
if I was to rank the Metroid games from like first to like first and 10th, right? So excluding the spin-offs and excluding the original Metroid 1 and Metroid 2. So I'd put Super Metroid at number 1, I'd put Other M at 10, I'd put Metroid Prime 4 probably 7th.
Okay.
Okay.
So, but I wouldn't say Metroid Prime 4 is a bad game. I mean, there were a couple of reviewers that gave it like a 3 out of 10.
That's so harsh.
insane.
Yeah. I'm
They,
like,
they've
That's gonna be
clearly
reserved-
never played an actual 3 in their life.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like Superman 64 territory. What are we doing?
yeah. And look, I think this is just a case of expectations and reality not meeting. Right. I think after 18 years, and rightfully so, fans were expecting, myself included, a revolution. And what we essentially got was just an evolution of Metroid Prime 3. And people feel that didn't justify the 18-year wait. What I actually think is going to happen is over the next 5 to 10 years, you'll see like a changing of the view of Prime 4 as it's settled in. Because people forget when Metroid Prime 2 came out, that was very, very divisive. Very divisive game. And now a lot of Metroid fans are like, oh, it's the best one. You know, so this stuff changes. Now, I don't think people are going to say, oh, Metroid Prime 4 is the best one. I don't think that'll ever happen. But I think people will settle a bit more.
I do think that the opinion, I feel like this game is a victim to its development cycle as well. I feel like if the same exact game had come out early in Switch 1's life cycle, that the perception would have not been as divisive or extreme as well. I feel like it's like this 8-year development that ended up bleeding into the next console really kind of enhanced that divisiveness. I think a lot of people were just expecting this, you know. I remember even when you came on the first time, I asked, like, is there going to be that moment that people go like, holy crap, like this is reinventing Prime or taking it to the next level? I guess Soul Valley was supposed to be that, but unfortunately was definitely one of the low points.
But I think I even remember saying to you back then that it wasn't going to be a big revolution. Yeah. And that like people who are expecting like Breath of the Wild were not going to get that. I was pretty adamant about that from the start. So I mean, I'm a little bit different because obviously I knew some things going in prior, like compared to everyone else. So, but even so, there was still heaps of stuff I didn't know.
Sure.
But anyway, Prime wants to ask me something.
Yeah, just taking it to the Prime topic quick. Are you aware of, or do you think there will be DLC for this game?
No, there won't be DLC for this game. This game was so costly to make. Have you seen the credits for this game?
Yeah, I did.
It's crazy. Yeah. And I think they just needed to get the game out. I'd be very, very surprised if there was DLC for this game. My thinking, and maybe this is copium, but I'm just trying to be logical about this, is this game costs a shit ton to make, right? This is one of the most expensive games Nintendo has ever made. So they had to spend all this time and money essentially hiring new staff, training up new staff, not just new employees, but the old retro had to essentially learn how to make a Metroid game again. There was a ton of outsourcing that was done. They've basically built up this massive production pipeline in order to make Prime 4 work. So now that you've got this production pipeline in place, it makes sense to take that and use that to make the next game. So my thinking is they are going to do a Metroid Prime 5. They are going to do Metroid Prime 2 Remastered, and you're going to see a Switch 2 edition of Metroid Prime Remastered. So Prime 2 Remastered, Prime 1 Switch 2 edition, and Prime 5. That's my thinking. Now, I could be overly optimistic here, but I just think that's the most logical thing to do. Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
I mean,
I'd
people
love
would
to see a remake of 2.
people
Oh,
would be
sorry.
very happy if that's what happens. I think.
Yeah, I heard
Well,
that on a podcast. So there was a podcast last year that talked about that a bunch of times.
I think there was one in
one of the co-hosts.
Oh my
One
god.
of
I think
the
there was
co-hosts-
one in 2024 actually when I said there would be Switch 2 editions of games, and people were like, "No way, they're going to do that.
No.
They're not going to do
They are,
Switch 2
man.
editions."
I
actually
remember
think-
that, and I remember when you brought that up, and I'm just like, that sounds so stupid that Nintendo's gonna do it. I'm like, it sounds like something they would totally do, and here we are. That's their way of giving the Wii U game treatment. Is hey, switch to it.
They fell in their
Yeah.
calendar gaps, man.
I also
Yeah.
remember a lot of people telling me that they would never call it Switch 2. That's a stupid name.
I do too.
Here we are.
But I mean, I'm just trying to be logical about this, right? Because they want to get back their investment. Like getting Retro to pivot to Donkey Kong or some other IP isn't going to fully utilize the talent base that they've built up. And you got to remember, a lot of the core people on the team, like not on the design side, but on the engineering side, the art side, a lot of these people are very experienced when it comes to first-person games, especially on the engineering side, right? So getting them to move over to Donkey Kong or something else, I don't see happening. But I think the core game of Prime 5 will be developed by Retro, but Prime 2 Remastered and Prime 1 Switch 2 edition, that'll be outsourced to one of the outsourcing teams that you saw in the credits for Prime 4, because Retro doesn't have the bandwidth to work on 3 games at once.
No.
And I this is just my personal thinking, and I don't want to digress too much, but I actually think this year is going to be quite a meh year from Nintendo. I think they'll be using a lot of Switch 2 editions to kind of pad out their releases.
That's gonna make people so mad. Like,
Yeah.
Because I was talking to, like, Andreas asked me this, like, whether I think there'll be 3D Mario, and I said, it's possible. Like, I know it exists. I've spoken about it on, and it could be this year, it could be next year, but you have to take into account the elephant in the room, which is GTA 6, and how that plays into things, and where they're going to put their releases in regards to that, because if you put 3D Mario up against GTA 6,
well,
at least initially, you will lose sales.
here's my counter argument to that. Okay. Because I know that you stated publicly you have this one source that says GTA 6 is coming to Switch 2, but you're not very confident in that source, even though they've been right on some things. They're not right on everything, right? Cool. You don't think it's happening at least day one, especially not day one.
Yeah.
Let alone at all, but definitely not day one. The platforms it's already announced for, they're having a hell of a time getting this game out the door. So it's probably not going anywhere else besides what they've already promised, because they're having, we even just heard recent from like Jason Schreier saying it's not even a content complete game yet. So like that making people think it might even get delayed again, just based on how long QA is going to take for a game of this size. That said, assuming it does come out, my argument is, who cares? If it's not on Nintendo, it has zero impact on Nintendo. They need a big game to make people want to play Nintendo. They can't just do nothing and let everyone else dominate while Switch 2 just falls to the wayside. They would have to release a big game to counter a GTA 6.
The only game will be Pokemon. That would be the only game.
Yeah.
Like
Gen
my
10.
counter argument to your counter argument is that the people that are buying Nintendo Switches and Nintendo Switch 2s now, it's a different demographic. It's not just younger players anymore.
No. But Mario's evergreen. So what are we worried about? They don't need all their sales day one.
No, they don't. But you'd want sales day one anyway.
You would get sales day one.
You would, but you would lose potential sales, and it's not just sales as well. It's the attention that you lose.
So you think there's a huge crossover of GTA players and Mario? They're way different games, like way different.
Yes.
Well,
but there's a lot of parents that buy their kids GTA, even though they're like 12.
I'm not worried about the parents. I'm not worried about the parents. Look at
no, but like it's But what I mean is, there's a lot of kids that play Mario, right? There's a lot of kids that play Mario. Sure, that's like its biggest audience. And I mean, I don't understand why parents are buying their kids GTA, but it does happen. I think that's a bit irresponsible, personally. But
by the way, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm saying that as a parent, obviously, I'm not buying my kids GTA, but even parents I know that are like excited for it, they're like, well, I'm not buying my kid a whole console and $100 game day one. Like, I'll buy GTA 3 years from now when it's 50% off.
I'll say this. I do think now more than ever, GTA would affect a big Nintendo game, even though it's a wildly different audience. I'm saying that because look at the holiday that we just had and the record low numbers across the industry. There's economic issues. People are worried about what they're spending. So people are going to be making decisions. I mean, I don't see anything in the near future that's going to change and things are suddenly going to be a lot more affordable, especially in the games industry. That looks like it's going to get more expensive going forward. So I do think people are going to be making more so next holiday than even this past one of like, okay, well, we can get one game. Grand Theft Auto is the big one that everyone's talking about, or do we get the Mario? And I do think it could affect it. I don't know how much. I do agree with you, Prime. They need a holiday game. Like,
I don't think you go in with Pokemon. I don't think they do. I think that's a mistake to go in with just Pokemon.
Well, here's the thing with Pokemon. It's massive in Japan, right?
Sure.
GTA is not big in Japan. Pokemon is massive in Japan. But, I mean, GTA 6, whether you hate it, whether you love it, it's going to be the biggest entertainment product launch of all time.
I don't disagree with that. I just don't think if it's not coming to a certain platform, that platform should be worried about it because they're not even trying to get the same audience as PlayStation. So I don't understand.
It's not just the sales in themselves, but it's the attention and the marketing aspect of it, because GTA 6 is going to swallow up all the attention. All the streamers will be playing GTA 6. All the publications will be writing and talking about GTA 6. If Mario will just get buried, at least initially. I'm not saying that Mario would bomb and it would flop. I'm just saying those initial sales, which, you know, stockholders and all that stuff, they'll be looking at that stuff. I guarantee you if GTA 6, like, let's say, the CEO came out and said, "Oh, GTA 6 is not coming to Switch 2." You'd have all the people selling stock. Guarantee you.
Sure.
I'm not saying Mario would bomb. I'm just saying that if you were going to release 3D Mario, you wouldn't put it in November. That's for sure. Like, I would do it early October. Like, you wouldn't want to launch a game right in November against GTA. I think Pokemon would be okay. But
what I find really interesting is, like, I know GTA is massive, right? It's like literally the biggest game there is besides like maybe Minecraft or something. It's up there for 200 million copies plus of GTA 5 sold. Incredible, mostly due to the online mode. That's what really took GTA 5 to a level way beyond GTA 4.
Yeah.
And then they obviously kept that going for a decade plus. So, like, you know, people buy GTA 6, they think they're playing it for the next decade, and they might be. That's how long it took to make GTA 6. So, and
they'll be playing it a lot longer than a decade.
Yeah,
and they don't being a 2-decade game.
Sure. Either way, the point is they don't just make GTA either. They make other games as well. So they'll have other projects to work on, and they'll continue to make content for the online. What I find interesting is, like, you know, I've been talking to different developers and stuff, just asking them in general, like, are you guys afraid of GTA? And pretty much everyone's afraid of GTA, which is understandable, especially when you're a third-party multi-platform developer, because people are going to put all their time into that game when it comes out.
Yeah.
But I always sit back and I always go, yeah, but GTA might get delayed again. Like, at some point, you can't just keep making your business decisions based around GTA. And for Nintendo, a company that's never relied on GTA in any meaningful way on their platforms, even though they've had GTA games, they've never really been anything for them in terms of major sales. They might just go, who cares? We can't control them. We have big titles, and our titles are evergreen. GTA is also evergreen. Absolutely. I mean, come on. There's no doubt that GTA is an evergreen game. But why are we worried about it? We got to put out the best lineup we can do, because if we act afraid, we're just costing ourselves sales of our system again for no reason.
But I'm not saying they don't release a
Mario.
Q4
You're
game.
saying
I'm just saying that they're not going to release it in November. They would
They're gonna
release
do
it
it
in
maybe
October.
like a summer or something. Yeah.
Yeah, or like I think if you release a game a month before or a month after GTA 6, especially a month after, I think you're putting yourself in very, very dangerous territory. It depends on what their game is though. Like if it is 3D Mario, like Andrea seems to think it might be Luigi's Mansion. If it's Luigi's Mansion, they would do that in October anyway, because that makes sense because of Halloween. Right. But like if you release Luigi's Mansion 4 up against GTA 6, bruh.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Luigi
Sweet.
I'm just going to be honest. I still don't think that impacts Luigi's Mansion. I think that we're too stuck on this, like, GTA dominates everything. No, GTA dominates through the online. It's the online multiplayer. A lot of people that buy Nintendo games are single player gamers. They don't care about that online aspect.
Yeah,
So
but the thing is with the GTA games, so the reason why GTA is so popular is because it penetrates almost every single demographic, right? So you've got the online people, then you've got the quality story mode that's really, really popular with single player people, right?
Yeah.
Yep, and it's an open world, so there's all those different aspects as well. Like kids love playing GTA and running around and shooting people, even though that they shouldn't be playing the game, in my opinion. But
that's not. But it doesn't touch on people who like platforming games. It doesn't touch on people who don't like open worlds. It doesn't touch on people who prefer a single player only experience, not dominated by multiplayer. Because let's just be honest, and I'll say this for the millionth time: GTA 5 is only as big as it is because of the multiplayer, and you can see this with the history of GTA sales. 5 is like everything combined equals 5.
yes,
Like 5 is huge because of multiplayer. So like I just think that. And I'm just saying this also as like a Nintendo fan. Less people aren't gonna watch the direct and be hyped because GTA is coming out. And most Nintendo fans don't even think about GTA because it's never been big for us, and we've never had 5. Now, Nintendo of America, I know, Kit and Krista put it out there. They think about GTA all the time. They want that game on their system. Nintendo basically begs them. Their words, not mine.
Yeah, they're like, we need this thing.
Nintendo of America basically begs them to put GTA on Nintendo, but they haven't really done it in a meaningful way besides the trilogy that was offshooted and wasn't great. Sucks. The GTA 1, 2, 3 aren't actually that bad at games. And I agree that like it hits on the single player because like no one's acting like this game's not gonna have one of the best single player campaigns of all time. It probably will. It would be very disappointing if it didn't live up to the hype. But I get this thing as like a gamer where everyone tells me like, hey, nothing can touch GTA, and yet every gamer I talk to, nobody plays GTA. No one has interest in GTA. Kids might, but then if you look at Nintendo's demographics, their own demographics tell you 85% of their audience is over the age of 18. So like they aren't people that are just kids. Like I know there is a huge demographic that play. My kids play Mario. I'm telling you, more adults play Mario than kids because more adults play Nintendo than kids do. I bet you the kid demographic might even be bigger on PlayStation than it is on Nintendo. I don't know that for a fact. Sony doesn't really publish age demographics like Nintendo does. But we have the age demographics from Nintendo. And I realize people lie. All those excuses. Everyone tells me, well, that's just, okay, yeah, you're right. People lie. So Nintendo's age demographics are off because everyone lies. I don't, like, it's too skewed to adult to be like every single person is lying because their second biggest age demographic is 25 to 35. And then 35 to 45. And like people aren't lying to be 30 and 40. I don't know. It's their parents. I'm like, I get that they can be playing on their parents. I understand all of that. But like everywhere I go to conventions, everyone's playing Switch, everyone's playing Nintendo, and it's adults. So I kind of just feel like everyone assumes GTA just hits on everyone. But it doesn't. There's like a billion video gamers out there between PC and console. Only 200 million sold. You're just going to ignore the other 800 million potential buyers? I'm not saying potential for Nintendo because there's not 800 million people interested in playing Mario. But I just kind of feel like it's not seeing the forest for the trees, because GTA, now granted, it's tough because Nintendo was already having a bad generation back in 2013, right? Wii U wasn't doing well. 3DS had a bad launch. So we don't know what impact GTA would have had back then because Nintendo wasn't able to do anything really successful at that time. But no offense to 3DS and Wii U, I love the platforms, but we all know sales wise that the sales are what the sales are. I just really feel strongly, and maybe it's just because I don't really care about GTA, that it would just be so stupid to abandon people. Well, I don't want to say abandon, but like just even give a shit this game's coming out. It's like Nintendo not releasing the game in November because Call of Duty comes out every year. Like, who cares?
But I'm not saying that they don't release a game.
You're saying
I'm just saying that they shouldn't release a game right in the firing line of GTA. I'm not saying that the game will flop, and I haven't said that. I'm just saying the initial sales will be affected by GTA 6. And we live in a different time as well, where like you got TikTok and Reels and stuff, and like all these people posting Reels, and that's how that's another form of marketing. Viral. Especially the way how there can be like a cascade effect, I suppose, and what the algorithms choose to promote and all that sort of thing. I just feel that GTA is just going to dominate that space. So what would essentially be a time where Mario would be picked up on Reels and all that stuff, it'll get overshadowed by GTA. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that like the game would totally bomb. No, I think in the long run, 3D Mario would still be fine. As you said, it's evergreen.
Yeah, it's evergreen.
But there's a lot of things to consider with these things, like in terms of the Q4 is the most important part of the year. That they have to appease stockholders and all that sort of thing. And also we don't know what the game is yet. It could be 3D Mario. It could just be Pokemon. It could be Luigi's Mansion. Maybe it's a Zelda remake. Yeah. But I don't think they're going to announce their Q4 specific release dates yet until they know for sure that GTA 6 is not moving. I am 90% sure GTA 6 does not move. I think that date is the date. But anyway, we digressed massively there. But anyway.
Yeah, we did. Well, we have a disagreement.
So we would.
It's all right. It's all right. Obviously, we don't know anything right now because nothing's even happened yet. So, hypotheticals. Yeah.
Do we think that the price of GTA 6 is going to cause any sort of issues with because you say could overshadow a Nintendo game per se, but if the price is high enough, do you think that'll knock down enough gamers from prevent enough gamers from getting GTA 6?
I don't think so, man. I think GTA is like the ultimate equivalent of FOMO. It's its own beast.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it affects anything. People are going to get it because it's GTA. It doesn't matter if the game doesn't live up to the hype of, previous entries or what people have built it up. I think GTA is going to dominate the conversation. And another, just to add on, I lost internet for a minute, so I missed the debate and stuff. But I do want to add in there that for a lot of people, I know a lot of us here are huge Nintendo fans. But for a lot of people, for millions of people, Nintendo's a secondary console. Yep. So you have to keep that in mind, especially with increase in prices, like I mentioned before, in tough economic times, that if you're a Switch 2 owner and Nintendo's a secondary console for you and you have the choice, chances are, especially on a budget with a more expensive, likely game, you're going to go with Grand Theft Auto. And that's not to say anything about Mario, but I do think Pokemon does seem like that game, like you said, Reese, that it's like the following is just so insane and the game will do so well in Japan that it wouldn't even matter. But yeah, I don't know. I think they could still get away with launching Mario, but I do think I don't necessarily know that it's the smartest launch window for your first big juggernaut on the console if it was Mario.
Yeah, and depending on the quality of the Mario title, right?
Yeah,
it would have to be like Breath of the Wild-esque Mario as opposed to Sunshine.
Well, you could just be Odyssey. Dude, the hype for Odyssey was massive.
Sure, but
Absolutely
look how they did their marketing and how it was placed and everything. It was very, very well done in terms of the marketing campaign. And as much as I recall, like what were they directly competing with in Odyssey? It wasn't. I mean, it felt like that they were competing with Breath of the Wild players in some ways.
This entire conversation can be summed up by that guy who's like, "Oh boy, 2 cakes. You know, we can have both of them."
Well, you know what? I think there's an easy fix to all of this. You just release your game before November 19th.
Yeah.
That's it. Fixed. And the reason why is because if you look at it outside of this past year was unique because the Switch 2 launched in the middle of the year. So you had a lot of games release late into November and into December, but that is not typical. That is not at all. Usually it's a black hole in December. You had Indiana Jones release a couple years ago. We've had Smash Brothers, which your Smash Brothers, you can do that. But for the most part, all the big flagship titles are already out. So I think you just released it earlier. This is like the movies, you know, like don't go head to head with the big summer blockbuster. Release it before that or release it after that. But again, if you go after, then you're going into that December territory, which can be dangerous. So just get your games out the first week in November.
Earlier.
Yeah, easy, done, fixed.
Yeah, I agree.
And granted, I mean,
I agree
I
with
just want to say, like, just given what I do, I have to try and be as objective as possible with these things.
Yeah.
And that's why I say this stuff. Like, look, GTA is not my favorite franchise, right? Metroid is. But I just try to look at this stuff and be like, okay, if we consider the market and what's happening, I'm like, is that the smartest thing? And I try to put myself in marketing shoes. Like, I imagine Nintendo of America is having discussions about this with Japan and their lineup for this year and where they're going to launch things. And GTA 6 will be discussed for sure. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I have to take the L and send Prime a DM and be like, bruh.
Well, yeah. Listen, you won't be wrong because Prime is convinced that we're not getting Mario till 2028. So
I don't think we are till 2028. But I'm not even like my statement's not even about Mario. It's just I don't think they should be afraid of putting anything up against GTA. I don't think it matters. I don't think the audience actually overlaps that much.
Well, we'll find out in time, won't we?
I'm going to tell you right now, the kids that I know that play GTA don't play Mario. I'm just telling you, they go from GTA to Fortnite to Call of Duty. They're not even looking at games like Mario.
He needs to have a gun or a ball.
I just don't really think the crossover's there. Just to be like completely honest, even with the young ones. And I'm just saying this as a dad with young kids that sees other kids. The only ones that play Nintendo are the ones that aren't playing GTA. So it's kind of interesting. I think a lot of that comes down to the parents also, as you said, you know, parents willing to shove Call of Duty and GTA in front of their kids instead of Mario is like,
what would be funny is if
rate your kids. I don't agree with that decision.
But what would be funny if in a direct randomly Nintendo announces that GTA 6 is launching on Switch 2 day and date.
That would be crazy.
Well, then it's just like, wow.
That's different then. That's a little different.
Yeah,
that's different because then they're hoping to get a huge crowd that wouldn't have bought Switch 2 to buy Switch 2 at that time. So that's totally different.
Yeah.
That'd be a huge win. That's, by the way, that's exactly what Nintendo of America would like to see happen. Because they know we might be the cheapest system that you can play GTA on day one. And we're portable. Yeah. That's like a huge win for people that
being portable GTA. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to play GTA 6.
Have it yet, so it's like
Switch 2.
It would literally be the only way day one to play it portable.
It can look like sin. It can look like GTA 5 for all I care. But if I can do it on the go, that's fine. I'm chilling.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue. In that case, yeah, I think Nintendo would avoid because why? We're not gonna be able to make enough Switch 2s for two big games at the same time. That ain't happening. All right. Do anyone else have some more questions for him? kind of
to go back, Metroid Prime 5 is happening. We digressed like way off there, but that's all good.
Prime 5 is happening.
That's my
have you
opinion.
been on this podcast? We digress. That's how you do it. That's how this podcast
Predicting that
works.
Prime 5 is happening, or do you know that Prime 5 is happening?
Digress all the time.
No, I don't know if Prime 5 is happening. I assume it is. I assume it is if I try to look at it objectively from a monetary standpoint, from a corporate standpoint. I mean, because what else can Retro make? Getting Retro to make another Donkey Kong seems a waste of time, personally, and they've got way too many platformers. The whole point is to diversify your game lineup.
Yeah, and we just had a 3D Donkey Kong, so I just, I don't think they're pushing for a new DK right now.
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, the only other thing would be maybe letting them make a new IP, but then that sounds like they already tried to do that.
That was an epic
very
fail.
well. Yeah, and anyone who thinks that's not a real thing, the files leaked out there. People made playable versions. It happened. They were trying to make a new IP.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Stash, you got any questions for her? I don't think Stash has asked one yet.
Yeah, just third party stuff,
here it comes.
I mean,
He's like, I know what I tweeted.
Here it comes.
yeah, just what can you tell us without telling us anything?
What can I tell you without telling you?
Without stepping on any toes, right? And being, mindful and respectful. Obviously, is there, any kind of clues you can give for us to chew on without telling us? Obviously,
Well, I've already said that the floodgates will open pretty much with 2026.
yeah.
And from what I understand, that still seems to be the case. I think a lot of the issues that they were having with Unreal Engine 5, specifically Microsoft, as far as I'm aware, they've been resolved. So that says to me that a lot of the Microsoft games that haven't made it over yet will end up on the system at some point.
Yeah.
I kind of already,
Just to interrupt for a moment, it sounds like in the Unreal Engine case, I just covered this the other day. The update 5.7 they dropped seems to specifically be for Switch 2 because it improved GPU performance by 40%. Only on
Ooh.
So that kind of feels like Epic and Nintendo were working together to get this update out there. So that could be exactly what solved everything. So
So I mean, there's a lot of stuff on the horizon. There's some stuff you can kind of guess. I mean, I've already revealed that the Resident Evil remake series 1 to 3 is coming. Just after 9, as far as I'm aware. What can I tell you without telling you anything? I mean, there's still the WTF game. That I'm sure.
I'm so curious.
is it from a big AAA developer or indie?
What type of indie game would be a WTF?
See, you know what? I thought it could have
Super Meat Boy
Ben?
3D?
that we kind of have an indication is coming now, but you mentioned this obviously before. I was curious when the data mine leaks of Monster Hunter Wild started dropping. I was like, I wonder if that was the game that Kiwi was talking about.
I got an
Because
answer
for
from you.
me, it's like that game doesn't run well on the powerful modern consoles. That would be a WTF moment to have that one revealed. Is there monsters in this WTF game?
Possibly.
He's at a
I love it. I love it.
So
I love it how you're trying to
you said
give me the
I
crack
got
here.
the indie game that would be a WTF, especially to Nintendo fans after everything. Pal World.
Ooh.
I thought he was going to say
that's-
Expedition.
Yeah, that is a
There's no-
WTF game.
that would be WTF, but would Nintendo be like? I feel like they'd be petty and say, "Nah, dog."
So that's why
thought.
it's WTF, because Nintendo sued them and yet it's coming to Switch 2. Nintendo gave them the dev kits and said, bring it over.
You know what?
Pretty
We
big
need to
WTF moment.
We need to think bigger here. Listen, the only thing that should be WTF to all of us.
GTA.
I've already said that GTA 6 is
yeah.
not the WTF.
I
Yeah.
know, because you don't even think it's coming to Switch 2, but it's
Yeah.
It
But
is a
wait, I'm going to
WTF
India in June, so I'm getting my dinner then. Looking forward to
Yeah.
it.
Oh, good.
Yep.
So you can ask.
I look forward to hearing something from that dinner. I hope that is good news.
I'll take some photos.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Can't wait to
Let-
see what you eat.
I want you guys to think about this. The only thing that would be WTF for all of us is games from one company. Who
Sony.
is it? Yes.
Sony.
Yes.
Horizon.
So those are the lines we need to think.
It's so obvious for Horizon because they already did the Lego Horizon on Switch.
Those are the lines we need to think.
And Zelda's audience would cross over very well with Horizon.
Sony.
I don't think it's
Crash
Horizon.
Bandicoot's coming
Spider-Man
back.
would be huge if they brought Spider-Man, but I instantly go to Horizon since it's technically already touched a Nintendo system. You'd say it's totally silent.
Horizon would do well on Switch too.
So it's,
Yeah,
it's a Sony game. Now it's just is it Horizon?
we've gotten him too far. He's like, I can't give another in. He's like looking away.
I love how persistent you are, but yeah, I've got to.
Wait, I have a question that maybe you can answer.
That'd be WTF.
Wait, I got a question that maybe you can answer regarding this WTF game. Is this a game that caters to a very wide audience, or is this more of a niche game that there's like a cult following for that they've been waiting for a long time?
Dude, he's laughing. He loves this podcast so great.
No, because I just love how hard you're trying. Like, trying to get me to crack. Like, I'm going to give you something, right? If I say anything, if I literally say anything, I swear it'll give it away. So
You've given
you know,
enough.
and I'll get. Do you know how much shit I'll be in? I'll be in so much shit. Like,
Don't give
honestly.
anything else. I already know.
Yeah. But look, I appreciate you guys trying.
He's like, I already know what game it is.
No, I care about your job. I care about the work you do. I respect it. I don't need to hear anything else. I'm good.
Do you play as a character with legs in this game?
All right, now you're like the Twitter account that's like really obvious, like, oh, Deltarin's gonna have gameplay.
Look, are the legs potentially made of metal or human flesh?
So, sorry, you said the player has legs or the NPCs have legs?
The player. Does the player have legs?
It's Raymond. He doesn't have legs. You heard it here first, chat.
Is this a game that you can jump in?
Don't we have like other topics?
Every game ever today in the modern, can you jump in this game?
Right.
This is so funny. This is going to be funny to look back on when it releases.
When it releases,
Yeah. And we're having discussions about did the player have legs? Do you have legs as a player?
Especially if we're just way off base with all of it. We're like, oh well, shit.
Yeah. Mind you, this
That'd
is
be
kind of
so-
my fault because I brought it up, right? I brought it up in the conversation.
Yeah, you actually
and then you guys were like, "Oh yeah." So now that I think about it, I'm like, "Yeah, I shouldn't have said that." But anyway,
Put down the shovel. Well, see, if he thinks he shouldn't have said that, that means we hit pretty close to home on something. See, that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Pretty sure it was.
Well,
not
I know what you're doing, Prime, because of the fact that I revealed Fallout 4 on here, and you were looking at my face. I know you're looking at my face and trying to work out. Okay,
Even if you don't say it out loud, I might just know just by looking.
yeah. I've got a pretty good poker face, I must say.
But hey, to be fair, that was the one thing that got revealed on our show from you, and that's the one story that nobody else talked about.
I know. It's great.
So this show's a safe space, as you clearly see. Mainstream media don't care.
Yeah. Still a bit risky.
We're indie. We're under the curve. No one's watching.
Indeed.
Dude, but like there are seriously some people, some journalists and stuff that I swear they just sit on my Twitter and just wait for me to post stuff, man.
Yeah, dude, they got notification like starred and ready, buzzing when every time you drop a tweet.
Yeah,
Just
so like
they'll get shit up within like 3 minutes of your tweet. It's insane.
yeah, so like, I posted something a couple of days ago how I was more excited for third-party games on Switch 2 this year than Nintendo stuff, right? And people misconstrued that because I said I'm a super diehard for 3D Zelda, Metroid, and Smash Brothers, and they took that as he only likes Smash Brothers, Metroid, and Zelda, and I'm
I
like,
saw
no, that's
that.
not what I said. Yeah, it's not what I said. I just said that I'm
Shaking
super
my head.
diehard for those. But anyway, somebody asked in the comments, they're like, 2D Metroid, is that coming this year? And I said, I don't think so. I think it'll be 2027. And then I said that the next 2D Metroid will be very, very important as it's the end of an era. All right. And that was just a reply to someone's tweet. And then, boom, all these publications covering it.
Oh my goodness.
I was just like, what the heck, man? Like,
It was
seriously.
like
And
a
it didn't even take that
innocent
long.
response. It was like the most innocent response. It's
Yeah.
like, that's so wild, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, I just said, oh, it's the end of an era. But apparently that's big news.
That's funny, man.
Get
Yeah,
an
that's
Xterra
funny.
article about you. That's how you know you made it.
Well, yeah, I guess. Is it a good problem to have or a bad problem to have?
Yeah,
I think
right,
it
you
depends
tell
on the
me.
context. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You'll find
you get
out
taken
in
out
a
of
few years, I
context.
suppose.
Yeah. So, what was the other question? Didn't you have another question? Or somebody had another question?
Oh man! Now he's asking for questions, and now everyone's just blank. He doesn't want us
Like,
to
what
go.
do we got? What do we got?
I know he turned the tables. Everyone's nervous now.
Yeah,
What do I
everyone's like,
ask?
oh no! Now we feel bad if we're the asshole that brings up a topic he doesn't want to touch on.
Right. Or you hit it. You like get him to accidentally
Here,
reveal something.
Here, I'll
you don't-
give one. I'll give a
Look,
question.
you
to
can
the
you can
audience.
ask me anything.
you
I
don't
might
have
not
an-
answer it, or I might just say no comment. But
Here,
feel
Here,
free to
I'll grab an
ask me
audience
anything.
question. An audience question here.
Okay.
Kitsune, is Forza Horizon 5 or 6 coming to Switch 2?
I think, I don't know for certain because I haven't had an update, but I think they were looking at bringing Forza Horizon 6 to Switch 2, but there was some sort of issue with the triggers.
Because they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my understanding is that's kind of a maybe. Like, I wouldn't assume that that's coming. They're trying to work out how they would do that currently, as far as I'm aware. But
And there's
I haven't had an update in a while. So
And this isn't
Nintendo's
more of a
gonna need to
question,
do an
this is more of
Elite
a
controller.
statement of. I got one more from the audience here. This isn't really a question. I think at this point it's a statement of fact. We can thank Kiwi Talkz for this one. Thank you for the stream. Can't wait to play Sony games on the Switch too.
I was laughing when that came in.
That's funny. I got one for you, Reese. Where's Banjo? What's going on? You ever hear anything about Banjo? I know there was a lot of interesting theories about it. You know, Phil had made comments years ago, like Banjo fans, we hear you.
Banjo is
you know,
dead, bro. Like dead.
Wait.
and there's no Dragon
one's
Balls.
bringing it back.
So
And
no,
then
like-
Phil Spencer killed the Xbox. Like, what are we talking about? Like,
yeah.
I mean,
so
hey,
just to explain a bit like what's happening to Microsoft, even though this is a Nintendo show, it's always good to know what the competition's doing. Basically,
Right.
Satya Nadella is investing a lot of their time and their money into AI, right? So that is at the expense of game development. So anything that is not going to bring in like record-breaking profits is basically just dead in the water.
damn.
Yeah,
It is.
that's what like so many layoffs, dude.
Horrible, man.
So many layoffs because they're betting everything on AI. So a lot of these niche games are going to be, I don't see them returning. I think Banjo is gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious about. I always figured that the way forward for that series would be to do just like a remake, you know, kind of like how Toys for Bob did for Spyro and for Crash. And I was curious because you know Phil had made some comments, you know, years ago, and Toys for Bob expressed interest in it. Rare, I mean, they're just the Sea of Thieves teams. I believe that game that they announced 7 years ago, Everwild, is officially canceled now.
Yep.
I think it's now officially canceled. That game was announced like 7-8 years ago. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It's sad. It's sad to hear.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look and see that Microsoft is very different to Sony and especially Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
At their core, they're a software company. That's where they make their money. Like Xbox is just a side thing. Microsoft Gaming is just a side thing. So they're never going to make the sort of investment that say maybe Nintendo would. Like, granted, like look at Metroid. If
Yeah.
any other publisher had that IP, it would be dead.
Yeah.
Nobody would be making Metroid games because they don't make a lot of money, and you could invest that money and time elsewhere, maybe in another Mario game that makes a record-breaking profit. So, especially as Microsoft moves more and more into the third-party arena, taking gambles on games like that is not worth it for them. And they'll be sitting on data, right? They'll be looking at data to see how viable it would be to bring back Banjo. But they might just look at it as like, well, we'll just keep them in Smash and make money that way. But I mean, they had that Perfect Dark game that was almost done, and they're just like, nope, gone.
Dude, so lame. That's so upsetting. That's so upsetting.
Yeah.
So, it's unfortunate what's happening. I mean, the industry is in a very, very bad place. A lot of devs that I speak to are really, really nervous. Very, very nervous because usually in the past when there's been bad, I suppose, seasons in the industry, you come out of it. But this has just been going on for so long now, and it looks like it's about to get worse.
Yeah.
So, like, I know devs that have worked at places like Naughty Dog and Rockstar, even some of the retro studios guys. They can't find work.
Yeah.
Like one of the devs, I won't mention who worked at Retro Studios. He's been unemployed for like a year, and this is a guy that worked on like Prime 2, like Tropical Freeze. Like, can't find work.
That's insane.
Wow.
Yeah. So you think of the caliber, like there's people that I know at Rockstar, right, that worked on GTA 5 and Red Dead 2, can't find work. So
Yeah, wow.
if it's that bad, like that puts into perspective how it is for like a newbie, like someone that's just come out of university or something trying to get into the industry. It's bad, man. Like
Yeah.
what I'm saying doesn't actually begin to fully articulate how bad the industry is, particularly in the West. Like Japan's okay because their cultural model seems to work very well with game development, because they keep the same staff there the whole time. They spend their whole life at the company. They pass their expertise, their knowledge, everything down to the younger devs. So there's a smooth transition of a knowledge base, right? And also because of the way Nintendo operates, there's kind of overlap in a lot of different areas. And the CEO isn't earning like $50 million a year and isn't trying to appease shareholders all the time to get their bonus of another $50 million a year. You know, just stupid stuff like that. So like Japan will be fine. Nintendo will be fine. Capcom will be fine. Square Enix will be fine now that they're moving away from the whole exclusive thing, because that was actually self-sabotage. That was just dumb. But yeah, the West is in a bad place, both in North America and in Europe. It's really bad.
Yeah. It feels like a train that's derailed and is heading for a cliff. That's what it feels like.
Here's a train I want to know. Have you or can you reveal if Half-Life 3 exists?
Yes. However, I will say Half-Life 3's development has been very, very weird over the last decade. Because of how Valve works, right? They don't have a hierarchy in terms of the development cycle. So what essentially happens is a game developer wants to make a game. So let's say a game developer wanted to make Portal 3, right? I want to make Portal 3. He manages to convince a number of other devs at Valve to work on Portal 3. They work on it together. They're like, yeah. And then they hit a brick wall. And then a couple of the devs are like, nah, I can't be bothered anymore. I'm going to do my own thing. And I'm going to work on my project over here. So they basically have the freedom to do whatever the hell they want. So what's happened with Half-Life 3 is one person gets a bunch of people to work on Half-Life 3. Yeah. They're all working on it. And then it hits some sort of brick wall and they're like, nah, we can't be bothered. And then they move on to something else. It gets cancelled. I don't even want to say cancelled. It just stops. And then they want to do Half-Life 3 again, and then they start from scratch again. So I've been hearing this for years now, to the point where I'm just like, does it exist? Maybe. But is this like the 5th or 6th time that I've heard this? So, I mean, personally, I think this rumor of the Steam machine being launched with Half-Life 3, I think that's entirely viable. But until I see a trailer, I just can't put faith in anything just because I know how the structure works at Valve.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about the structure. The whole time I kept thinking of two things. One, their developers seem to have ADHD.
Just like me.
One. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. I got ADHD. Everyone in my family has ADHD. It is what it is. They can be managed, but also the fact that they can just freely willy just reboot projects and not give a shit. Dude, everyone there must have fuck you money.
Oh, they do. So
serious fuck you money.
Oh, yeah.
So
who cares about pissing away a bunch of development resources?
So I haven't announced this yet, and I don't even know if it will happen. So obviously you're aware that last year at the NZ GDC I did the
Nintendo
presentation on Nintendo's design philosophy, right?
Yep.
So the guy who actually built Steam, he lives here in New Zealand. I know him. Hung out with him a few times, had coffee with him. So I'm trying to organize a panel to do with him at the next NZ GDC. And he's agreed to do it. I just have to get the NZ GDC on board. Right. But he doesn't really do interviews or any of this stuff. Like, he's been out of the limelight for a long time. So this is actually a really, really big deal because he's told me some stuff. Because I said, we should do an interview. And he's like, I don't want to do an interview because I'll say some stuff that I shouldn't. And I'm like, and this was like a few years ago.
Been out of the limelight for a while, yeah.
Yeah. So, but now I'm like, hey, okay, this is a panel at the NZ GDC. It's to do with game developers. You'll be helping the industry here. We can present it in a way where, like, we plan all the questions beforehand. So, like, you know what you're going to be asked and all that. So that will be something that I might be possibly doing later on in the year. But anyway, but yeah, with Valve, that's essentially, they all have fuck you money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, there's only like,
I'm like, man, this sounds like a rich kid, the trust fund. Just who gives a fuck?
Well, people don't get laid off there. Like Valve has like the infinite money glitch, right? They don't even have to do anything and they make money. So yeah, they're all pretty wealthy, but you don't want to pay them too much to the point where they would retire. So that's the trick. Actually, I don't even know how many people still work at Valve. I think it's like 100. How many people work at Valve?
They're just maintaining that shit.
350 employees. Wow.
Okay.
That's quite a bit. That's gone up quite a bit from the old days. I mean,
well, you said they have to, keep the employee pay good, but not too good. And so as they keep having more and more fuck you money coming in, they got to find a way to write off for taxes. You got to expand the team.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I've always been more of a Portal guy than a Half-Life guy. And I'd rather see Portal 3 than Half-Life 3.
Left 4
personally.
Dead.
I would too.
I would love a Left 4 Dead 3.
But they don't like 3. They don't like the number 3.
They don't. I need a full, and I know they kind of had this with Portal 2. They did have some sort of service like this, but I need like a full like Mario Maker style Portal 3. Like, it doesn't even have to be like a full Portal game. It just could just be like full on. You get to make your own levels. Here's all the assets and resources. Here's all the fan community made stuff.
Doesn't that already exist? I thought they
that's
built
what I'm saying.
that.
So something like an updated version of that with maybe like new stuff is what I was saying.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. It already exists. I know they've done it before, but like, I think it'd be if they brought it back in a new way and maybe they added like even more multiplayer, like maybe like 4-player co-op or something like that. I don't know. So a lot of cool ideas you could bring to the table on that one.
I mean, my biggest concern with Valve, which doesn't actually get talked about a lot, is when Gabe officially rides off into the sunset.
Yes.
And who takes over? Because if Valve becomes a public company,
oh my god,
if they go public and they start doing dodgy shit, the appeal of Steam will be lost, and they'll monetize the crap out of that. if you get the wrong CEO in there. But people don't really talk about it that often.
Yeah, I was watching a TikTok about that. It was like a 1 minute video, video essay TikTok. Yet they're not innocent of their business practices. Don't get me wrong, but in terms of the industry and what's going on, it's impressive how much they could abuse and they don't, and how sustainable they've decided to go with long-term stability and sustainability with their company model rather than just milking the crap out of gamers like they could. So, yeah, it's but I agree with you. It is scary. Just what happens when Mr. Gavin is gone. I don't know. Somebody kind of greedy might come in, but it could also be okay. They could be, grooming somebody that it would be, they have the same philosophies and whatnot. So fingers crossed.
You know what would actually be really funny is if they leaned into the joke of the not liking the number 3 and they just skipped right to number 4.
That would actually be pretty funny because it's a way of trolling the community in a way.
Right. But yet everybody would love it.
And that's where the 4-player co-op comes into play. We brought it all together. We tied it all together.
I just saw a comment here about how someone's never played a Metroid game before and they love Metroid Prime 4. And I didn't mention that. I actually think Metroid Prime 4 is a good game for noobs that want to get into a Metroid game. I think it's very much designed with new players in mind. And I would suggest to anyone who has never played a Metroid Prime game before, play Prime 4 before Prime 1. I've never been able to get my nieces and nephews into the Metroid series because they find the game design too intimidating. I haven't given them Prime 4 yet, but I'm hoping because it's a lot more streamlined that'll help. But yeah. Anyway, that just prompted me to say that.
I really wanted. I hate to jump on Prime 4 again, but it just reminded me of.
Well, we digressed from it majorly onto GTA 6, so it's good to circle back.
I had been hoping pre-release, I guess, before we started getting like the big looks at what the game was going to be, that there was one staple that they started putting in the 2D Metroids that would make its way into a Prime game, because I do think it would work well. I don't know what you guys all think about it. I may have talked about this on a podcast episode before, actually. Something like Mr. X and Nemesis. I mean, we got that in Fusion, we got that in Dread with the Emmys, but I loved when we found out that like this game was going to have Silex. I loved the idea of kind of the hunter and the hunted again happening, and you being in scenarios where it's like you just got to get the hell out of there. We didn't get that with this, but I feel like something like that could work in a fun and interesting way in a Prime game.
I mean, it could work. I suppose it all depends on whether that's a road SPD would want to go down. Some people find that stuff very intimidating. Some people just really don't like the whole idea of this thing chasing you around.
For sure.
For like the whole game. Like, to be honest, I haven't played Resident Evil 2 Remake yet.
Sure.
I feel like that's a game I need to play on stream because it would scare the shit out of me, right?
Sure.
And I think people would love to see that. But yeah, I think for a lot of people, that's like really intimidating. I mean, I didn't mind the Emmy because it's only in small parts, but when you have like a presence that's just following you the whole game, I think that puts people on edge quite a bit. And I talked about this when I did my presentation at the NZGDC. The whole something being hard and something being stressful, right? Nintendo don't like their games to be stressful, so they try to encourage their developers not to do that. Now, granted, the example that I used was Prime 2, because that's kind of a stressful game because of, I suppose, the cognitive overload you have a lot of the time. And I used the Boost Ball Guardian as a good example because you're in this atmosphere that's constantly killing you. You have to try and find health. You have to try and find missiles. And you have to find ammo for your beams while trying to avoid getting hit as well, and so like it's a lot for the player to maintain. So if you've got an exploration type game where you're trying to look around, you're trying to find stuff, you're trying to work out what you're going to do, solve this puzzle, but in the back of your mind you got this thing that's like going to kill you, especially if it's a one-hit KO or like a one-hit kill, like the Emmys.
Yeah.
That would just be like, oh my god, you know. So I think it would depend on how they implemented it. I'm not saying they wouldn't do it or they couldn't do it. They could do it, but
Right.
I
even think about. I was gonna say, I also think about Village, Resident Evil Village. You know, it's first person in the opening chunk of the game. You know, you're in the vampire house, and Lady D is, you know, she walks through the house, so you may randomly run into her and you're like, I got to get out of here. I like that kind of stress. Nintendo does do a form of stress in games that actually stresses me more out than being followed by something you can't kill. It's time limits. I don't know what it is. When I see a countdown, that stresses me out more than anything. And they do it all the time. I mean, the early Pikmin games had strict timelines. Metroid Prime, you know, there's always those escape
sequences.
One, you know? I remember that like stressing me the crap out my first time playing the game. So they do find ways to creep in stress somehow. But I hear what you're saying.
They do. They do at times. Yes. I think time limit is a different type of stress though to having. Some sort of character that's following you everywhere. Right. Because with the time limit, it's like, okay, cool, you've got this time limit. I've got this amount of time before I have to complete the game or this task or whatever.
Yeah.
When you've got like Alien Isolation, right? You just never know. It's so random that I think it puts people on edge. I know for me it does.
Yeah,
100%. Like if I play those games, after like an hour, I'm like, I'm done, man. I'm mentally fatigued. I got no energy. Like I just want to. I'm like so like burned out from like all the adrenaline of that. But
yeah,
it could happen though. If I think Retro could probably find a cool way to pull it off, but I don't think I personally would want that for like the whole game.
Sure.
Yeah, right, I mean, you could do it. You could even have a sequence. In a game, like maybe in a particular biome in Prime 5, you go through a section where something's hunting you for maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes or something. That would be a good switch up of like gameplay in terms of the pacing, right? Yeah. But I mean, there's various ways they could do it, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.